Okay, so in this video what we're going to be doing is jumping back to FactoryTalk SE. This is going to be the FactoryTalk version 9, and this is going to be doing the InstaFizz. So of course you have to come in and make sure your computer name is right. In every aspect you have to make sure that, so everything they have done. And even your RSLinx Enterprise. RSLinx Enterprise is going to be where your tag database, or not your tag database, but your communications path is, so the shortcut to the processor. So we'll open that up, and if you changed it, that's a common message you're going to get right there. So you have to know what your shortcut is to begin with. So what we'll do is we'll open up one of these screens, and then we'll click on one of the animation tabs, and let's see where we have should be tag substitution. Okay, so the shortcut name is shortcut. So that's pretty easy to remember. This is a Rockwell devised application, so they made it pretty easy for looks like the end user. So anyway, so we come down here, the shortcut name is shortcut, so couldn't be any easier than that. Come in here, we find out where our path is, our communications path. In this case, I've loaded it into an L73. I'm going to then assume the connection. You can do that by clicking here, and either meshing the two together or clicking apply. Then there's alarms and events. You want to make sure that those are checked yes, because if you're using alarms and events, you want to make sure you're passing those. So then you click verify, and when you click verify, all you're doing is verifying that your shortcut path did actually get set. Then you hit OK. Then it says yes. Whatever changes you made, you should be showing that. So now that it's actually talking and working, right, we can do one or two things. We can open up one of these screens and run it to see if we're actually talking and everything's working, or if that's the case, we've already done that and everything's working, what we can do is we can come in here and create a we can launch our client. Which first, what I recommend is you go down here and look into like your macros, and you have a large startup, and then you have, which is the large startup, they're saying display the large navigation, and then they say /D and then top, like T would mean top. Then they're saying display the large overview, which would be the center of the screen, and then they're saying set the menu tab to 0. So that's just something that I like to double check and make sure that the call to actions are working correctly. This would be a web view. They also allow a web view, which is done off a different type of. It's not used for an SE. So it's not used for a call like a panel view or a Versa View touchscreen or something of that nature. It would actually be in relation to using, I believe it's Vantage, or there's another one. It's a web-based protocol that you can use. So down here, in another one I like to double check too, especially on a new application, is Runtime Securities. So Runtime Securities, it says all users, so apparently all users have permission. You can come up here to security accounts and verify that all users do have permission for everything. So they're allowing all users to have permission, although not every application is like that. So I double check this to make sure that there is this function, and if there is that being used, you need to, obviously edit it. You can duplicate them. You can add an account if you wanted to. So you simply just add account if you wanted. So we can add the guest account if we wanted, and then that would be added. So in that focus, the guest account, we could limit to something. We can come in here and edit things that they have, and then once the guest account is actually there. So that's one way to go about it. And just make sure your computers are down here. That's just something that is something that to double check and when you're moving applications and stuff. But for this instance, what we'll do is we're just verifying that the proper settings are in here and stuff like that, so that we can actually start our client. The main focus that I'm talking about is this macro right here. So you want to make sure you call the right macro, and I'll show you this as I'm building it. So when you make a client, you can go to, again, you can launch the client from up here, which you can pick that, or you can go straight to your start menu, and you can go to FactoryTalk, not tools, but view, and then in view you can go to FactoryTalk view site edition client. You can click that and it will bring you to this, or you can click up here. Same thing, right? It's just simpler to do the one on the top left hand corner. So then we'll put InstaFizz client. So something real simple. You can name this whatever you want to name it. It doesn't really matter. This is selecting the type of application that you're connecting to. At this point in time, if you don't have this selected to the correct application or the software you're using, if you do local, if right now this being a network distributed, if I chose a local or a network station, it's not going to pull up, and I'll show that. So network distributed, it's going to come in and show me everything. However, let's go back, and if I chose network station, it doesn't show me anything. So it's very critical that you choose the correct thing and you know the right setup that you're on. So again, I want to choose the InstaFizz. Oh, and it's very critical that you choose the right language. So then now my area, and look at your area up here. So right now they have data area, they have the FT alarms and events tag area, they have the HMI area. The HMI area is what you're looking for here. So the HMI area, if it happened to be right here, you would not get it. So the HMI area is what you want to be at. Then you can come down here and you can click whatever displays you want. If you had initial displays, I looked at the macro, and if you could remember, the macro already called displays. So in the call display, it had 3 macros. So the macro that we looked at was the large startup client. We're going to put that in there because that called the displays for us already. And then we'll do client keys. So we'll click next at that point. In here, what you want to do is click maximize screen and then uncheck all this. Let's see, allow client to be resized upon runtime. No. And then you can choose diagnostics if you wanted to choose diagnostics. While I'm troubleshooting, I like to have diagnostics. So I like to leave this. Now when I'm running it on a normal platform where I'm not troubleshooting it, I know everything's working and everything's done right, I uncheck this box. So again, we'll leave that on right now, and navigation tracking is fine. Enable logout. I tend not to use that because I have other features that I use. You can use that. If inactivity for 10 minutes, it will automatically sign itself out. Save and run. What we'll do is we'll save and exit. We don't want to run. I want to check one more thing before we run. There was a client keys. The client keys to shut the so you had the client keys right here, and you have F8 to refresh, and then all that does is refresh the screen. So I just wanted to understand what that was. So now that we have our client made, all we got to do is hit run. So at this point it should start up. It should sign in, log into the application. If you do not have your runtime securities right, you won't be able to sign in, or if you don't have the permission set correctly on the application, you will not be able to sign in. So just know that when you're trying to run a client. So making a client's pretty simple. It's just making sure that everything's working, and after everything's working, you start it up. But you go through the whole spectrum of what I just showed. Okay, so this is that bottom bar down here I was talking about, diagnostics, that you can basically move wherever you want to. In this case, we'll go through and show everything. Of course, the bottom bar doesn't seem to affect this a little bit. So what we can do, and that shows, so we go in and start the process if we wanted to. It's just to see. Let's just see how things are working currently. I don't know what state this, this is. I just actually loaded it myself, and this goes to Capper. I guess a blender, rapid mix. So this is stopped. That's running now. And this is stopped. Well, actually that stopped. Okay, this is running. I wonder what's happening here. Okay, so it's just a matter of getting the system back healthy. And so it might be just a matter of making sure these alarms are silenced and working. So we do have, apparently we have alarms in here. And we don't have a way to see. Okay. Alright, so let's go through here, and like I said, this is just showing the client how to start it and how to go about. We can check the health. That shows the server again. We've seen this on the other one. This one has a shutdown learning mode. That's just something that you can throw in here, and they actually have the ability to teach you, how to use stuff, buttons and stuff of that nature. If if you wanted to come in here and have that, so you have learning mode, you have demo mode, which is obviously what we're in right now. The dashboard is just a dashboard for the health. Again, this is a lot more robust system than an ME system, so you get a lot more out of it. And this we can go through the SE a lot more if you want to. I just wanted to show the InstaFizz process actually running, because this is on the version 30. It's what I have the control logics running off of. I believe it is 30. Wrong one. Yeah, so I believe it is 30. And again, so this is basically the same code, just version 30, and the FactoryTalk is version 9. So there's a couple more different benefits to 9. There's just some things that are working, that just look a little bit better, like the graphs over here. So if we wanted a grade change, we could. A grade changing process. Labeling. Basically, it kind of looks like almost like the other one, but we can go back and look at how the graphics are done on this one as well to see, exactly how things are done. As far as actually showing everything just like we did on the other one. But you kind of get the gist of animation, so I'm not sure how much more we need to actually go through and see, show that. So let's see. I mean, this is just the CIP process. System health. Again, I showed that. You can come in here and edit that stuff. More security languages. If you want to change languages, be kind of cautious on that. Again, learning mode is something that's very helpful if that's something that you're able to get. Alarm, CIP, packaging. It's pretty cut and dry what's on this app. There are no hidden things. There's some overviews, so you can kind of see the plant floor, kind of see where things are at and stuff of that nature. So this is more like a bottling plant, and it shows packages going in and out. So it doesn't actually show as much as the other one did, but it does show, quite enough to understand and look at the animations of stuff. So real quick, that was just a real high level intro to making a client already for an application. And we can go back and you can throw in stuff over here for shutdown like they did. And if you wanted to look at securities, you can look at security logins and stuff like that. They just have different features and stuff like they choose to use to show a more diverse environment, so that they can kind of get everybody they can and kind of give them an application that they can run. So that's one application, and then again, that's making a client. And once your client's made, know that the position, like where it's going. By default, it always goes to the location right here, which is pretty much where I can show you right now. It's users, it's public, then documents, and then it's RS Enterprise, and then SE, and then the clients would be you have client, you have the working progress projects that you have in your working projects. You have your client, so there's a client made for InstaFizz now. I've made a client for these two, so they're there. Just wanted to kind of show that. Let's see, we can show this one too. So this was pre-made in, of course, 2 years ago by them. So let's give that a glance as well. Want to see how well they put it at a certain dimension. So I put it at full screen. So let's just see how theirs looks. So anytime you're looking for a client, it will be in this location. Just know that right there. See users, and then public documents, and then RS View Enterprise. So yeah, that was a little bit bigger. So that's why I like to make my own. But anyway, once you make your own, it'll always be there. All you do is click run, and it'll be there. You can click edit if you wanted to edit it. It's the same as making it. You can always cancel out too. So that was just a rough example of making a client in for the InstaFizz app. That it comes with, FactoryTalk SE, and also FactoryTalk ME. So there is an ME version 2 that we can run, and I may show you how to simulate and run that as you want without even having a panel view. So we'll go ahead and close this video out and then start another one. So hopefully that was pretty clear and precise on how to make a client. Again, so always comment below, let me know what you think, and we got a couple more things coming as far as off of FactoryTalk and back onto Logix, and we'll kind of go back and forth on things. But again, always search your tags and always search the tag database to find the topics that you want to see. Okay, so again, thank you for the support, and thank you for being part of it.